welcome to another edition to morning. You guys got me all screwed up. Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends. They've been picking on me this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, everyone is having a great weekend. We are entering the holiday season. Hopefully, you find a way to be kind to someone because you never know if someone is going through or feeling a certain kind of way. And in the event that they react to you, you don't have to react because you can control your actions. Just go ahead and keep walking and wish them a good day. So this show was originally created for the more than 300 original quotes I created for the contents of my books, hanging around people like Christopher, Gilda, Chrissy, and Naheem, Denise, and some others. I was always curious, were these quotes just words that lay there on the page, or were there conversations to be had? So based on experiences with you guys, your perspectives, interpretations, we created this show. And so far, everyone's been loving it. This show is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Our mission is to create stories using our voices, inspire people, and share perspectives, and using the framework of teaching and learning and modeling. Our purpose is very simple. It's hope, helping other people every day. We are the everyday person's champions. So let me welcome my co-hosts again, Naheem Garcia, Christopher, and Gilda James, and the Chrissy Everett. Welcome. We have a quote today that has doesn't need much explaining. It's simple, but let's see how this quote lands on you. Today's quote, for those of you that have just tuned in, says, "Strong minds suffer without complaining. Weak minds complain without suffering." All right. I am normally going to be a Southern gentleman, and I always normally start with the ladies, whatever, but I'm going to talk to our senior chief this morning. And again, I'm going to say this 100 times. We thank you for your service. He's one of the brave men that had volunteered for our country to serve, even though sometimes our country didn't serve him as well. He served for people and he served for us. Thank you for being a representative of one of those strong individuals and never complaining.
It's always been my
Christopher, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. No. It's quite all right. It's always been my pleasure. Service sort of came natural. Today's quote, though, it is more prophetic than anything else. It simply states a fact, and your response will either be yes, I agree, or I've never seen that. But we can count ourselves lucky that there are those strong individuals out there who, I won't say take strain as a way of life, but when it happens, it doesn't affect their life, doesn't stop their life, doesn't deter their life. They simply power through it. And without complaint, stand up and wait for the next barrage. Yet there are other people that you'll meet through whatever occasion you may, who run at the first sign of danger. Okay, who simply turn weak at the knees and say, "No, I can't do this." I learned early on in my life that I have no idea what I'm capable of until after the fact. If I allow myself to simply say, "No, I can't do it," then I won't do anything. But if I allow myself to go through the incident and recover on the other side and say, "Oh my goodness, did I just do that?" That is who I want to be. That's who I am. And I don't attribute that to any particular strength, simply the curiosity to find my own limits, the desire to be the very best that I can be, and to ensure that those people staying alongside me know that they can trust in me to do the very best I can all the time. Not so much to carry them, but to be that strong support on either side, that they know they can count on me. And I'm going to venture off just slightly. There was a study made about PTSD in service people, and it was decided that every United States Navy submariner or people who rode submarines should have PTSD. And we even had a few doctors come on board and ride us for a few days, whatever. But the studies showed out that we didn't. There was no proof that there was any increase in PTSD among submariners. What I did find, and I thought it was funny, was that submariners have a different form of delayed stress. It's that we have spent so many years alongside people who are strong, who knew what they were doing, who could be counted on no matter what the situation. And once we left the service, we were surrounded by people who didn't, and that caused the distress in most mariners. But anyway, getting back to the statement, it's simply the quote is simply a prophetic statement of fact. The courageous people will be the ones who will simply do their job without complaint. And yet there are others who will complain without any reason. I'm done.
Can you repeat that? That was very profound itself. The strong mind people will do things without ever complaining, and the weak
will simply not do it.
yeah.
Who simply stop at the very thought that this might be dangerous.
All right. All right. I hope those that you're listening hear the words from a senior officer in the U.S. Navy. Hopefully, you listen to that word from a husband and father, a protector of not only men, women, but of the heart and the spirit. I hope you're listening. And if you're not, we're going to turn up the volume a little bit. We're going to pass this over to Chrissy Everett. And we're going to, I'm going to repeat this quote one more time while we prepare for that. Chrissy, strong minds suffer without complaining. Weak minds complain without suffering. Chrissy, how does this land on you? Chris Everett. I'm not going to say Chrissy. I don't want to be politically incorrect or be corrected by someone. How come you calling her Chrissy when her name says Chris? All right, because I know that there's one of those weak-minded people that ain't never put in the work or time or whatever that's going to complain about something because they can text.
They want to sound important.
They can text or put something on a comment pile or whatever.
Oh,
but
boy.
anyway,
Here,
all right, go ahead, Chris.
I'll help you out with that. Watch this.
All right,
You can call me Chrissy.
Chrissy.
There we go. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you might be listening. Yeah, so I really like what Christopher had to say about this. It's either, I agree with that or I have not heard that before. And I'm in the category of, I don't think I've heard that one before. So, yeah, and I agree with it, I feel like I don't have a lot to offer on it because it is just a statement of
self-explanatory, yeah,
of fact, the second half, the weak minds complain without suffering. That one kind of struck me a little bit more than the first because I thought about like the weak mind that is complaining, they are actually suffering without even knowing it, because they're, complaining all the time is just like, it's such a drain of energy, such a drain of, space and time. It's just like complaining without doing something about it is, that's suffering, that's kind of accepting your situation and only talking about it instead of getting into action about it. So yeah, so there's some suffering in those that are weak-minded. They may not know it, but that's how I see it today.
All right, and thank you. And she tilted the scale on both halves of the quote today. And like I said, it's straightforward. Like Naheem said, like Christopher said, it's straightforward. There's either one way or another way. But after listening to your comments, I know someone's listening and feeling another way. And,
Hmm.
this has brought up something that history that I share with Naheem that when I do my share, that I want to bring up because of this time of year. But my co-host, my brother, I'm so proud of him, just as a good human being. Um, he is an individual, Naheem Garcia, that has brought out the better part of me in conversations and in his friendship. So Naheem, a strong mind suffers without complaining. A weak mind complains without suffering.
It comes back to the character Elmer in King Henry II when he talks about honor. He said, a man got to have honor. If a man ain't got no honor, he ain't a man. He can play at being a man. He can pretend to be a man. But if he ain't got that, they'll tell on him every time. When it's time to be honorable, you can't find him. And that's what a weak mind does. A weak mind complains because as long as they're complaining, they don't have to do no work. That's it. They just don't want to do no work. So they complain. Real people that work and put in work don't complain because they enjoy doing what they do. It's their honor to do so. So usually the weak mind that complains at the first instinct of work, it has no honor because you got to have some honor in what you do and who you are and why you are. That's just the bottom line. There's no other way around it. So yeah, when I think about this quote, I think about honor. He who has honor works hard and don't mind doing it and won't tell you about it if it's hard. They won't complain about it. They just do the work. The weak ones don't want to do no work and they want to always go out the backyard and put on somebody else. Those are the ones that are always complaining about something. Got something to say about everything, everything. And those are the individuals that you got to get distance yourself from. But we also need them in the world because if it wasn't for wrong, we wouldn't know what right is. So we need those weak minded to be around to remind us what not to be. And that's about it for me.
Right, short and sweet, and put
There
some
you go.
stank on it. As I was corrected, I said stink last week. It's stink in our neighborhood. Stink. Put some stink on it, and it gives you something to think about. This comment takes me back to something Naheem brought out of me after one of our shows. There's a background conversation that goes on after we stop recording. And we were talking about during the holidays with men. We did a podcast when it was fathers that, um, for whatever reason, were not allowed to be present in their children's lives after a split up, a divorce, or whatever case may be. And these were men that were going out doing their 9 to 5, doing whatever it was the hustle that wanted to be parts of their children's lives. And yesterday I watched a young child sit in a health club playing on his video phone while his father worked out. When I watched other fathers that brought their kids to the health club and their sons and daughters were working out alongside of them. And I questioned, I said, this is the reason why our children are not strong. It's because we've been raised by technology. We've been motivated by
Social
profit.
media. Mm-hmm.
Profit. We've been exposed through social media,
Mm-hmm.
and we have not been embraced by finding out our responsibilities and how we should be loved and been loved, thus taking the strength away from most men. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
conversation that Naheem, his brother, and another that we had, we were vulnerable that day because we had conversations that normally we don't share because of how we may appear. And these are all strong Black men talking about the things that they have to deal with. Fathers that are not allowed to be around their kids for holidays because they didn't get along with their wives. They're not allowed to spend time because they don't have the financial wherewithal in order to meet the court's responsibility. And fathers that bring in children into the world that they don't hold themselves accountable for, responsible. And then again, we have these women that are trying to be men. And then we have these women that are telling men how to be a man. We have no experience. We need the love of both parents, no matter what decision your partner has made as far as the union between the two. Because in the event, what happens, is that we do not allow a young mind to have the strength to live a life without complaint. We allow something that should be strong to be fragile because they don't know what it's like to overcome suffering and be on the other side, because difficult comes before easy. And we all learn that. So when I look at this quote, I look at sometimes, when I say the criminal mind doesn't understand the crime, is that we've got to look back and say, look what damage we have done, not only to the heart and souls of our men, our women, but look at the seed that lacks the nurturing and the sunlight and the love that it needs in order to prosper and grow. So within this time during the holidays or any time during the year, strong minds suffer without complaining, because sometimes strong minds are not being heard, and they only hear the complaining. So with that said, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends. I know I do. I look forward to it. It's one of the best times of my day, my year. The bantering that goes back and the chats between all of us with the quotes. And I love the conversation. I don't know if I can even share some of the conversation we have after that we hit recording, maybe one day. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, we're going to have something special. My talented friends here all have reels that show some of their work. They're talented, extremely talented actors and actresses and writers and producers. And so what I would like to do in the very near future is that, showcase each one of you and share your reel so the people will get the chance to know you, because Motivational Sundays with Kevin would not be Kevin and Friends if I did not go ahead and share the talents of my friends. I love you guys all. I love you guys all. Okay. And anyone wants to correct it,
Okay.
thank you. And I did not forget Gilda, just to let you know. Okay, because she's at a few words, but I'm going to let Gilda talk about this quote, and I'm going to let Gilda end the show today.
Oh boy!
Right.
Remember, you gotta close it out with that famous phrase. I'm gonna let it go there.
All right, Gilda. Strong minds suffer without complaining. Weak minds complain without suffering. And then take us out.
I just want to say everyone did a good job. And my thing is, why this falls on me is because for me, it's getting in front of a group of people and have a conversation with. So I'm doing what I can to be a strong-minded person.
And not complain.
And not complain.
That's right. And with that, we.
And with that said, you're going to close the show.
You got to close the show the way we do.
That's right.
What?
Hold on, no, wait, no, wait. I got you.
Go ahead, Naheem.
Yes.
No, I'm a senator.
All right. So we always close the show with a certain way, and I will say that
she got it.
All right, go ahead, Gilda.
With that, we fade to black.
There you go. I will talk to you later. See you next week. Bye-bye.